I've been involved in some way with the industry since I was 9 years old, and that was when my dad started a staffing business in 1962. And that was around the time that there was some thought that maybe the industry needed some kind of a body that would help them. They wanted to have a voice with legislators. So they were looking for sort of small players who, in their local markets, would know legislators. So they looked at firms like my dad. He was not the size of an Olston even back then. He had just started. So they asked him to get involved. There are a few other firms that they all got involved. And they sort of had this concept of having both big players and small players together around a table, talking about issues, and then advancing the interests of the industry with legislators. And so that was sort of the early start of what became ASA. It's gone through a number of name changes over the years. It was first called ITS, the Institute for Temporary Services. But that was sort of a strange name. And so then they called it NATS. And NATS at that time was the National Association of Temporary Services, spelled N-A-T-S. But then in the literature, people started talking about this thing called staffing. So National Association of Temporary Services didn't have staffing in it. So someone came up with the great idea, well, we'll just add another S, and then we can become the National Association of Temporary and Staffing Services. Genius, problem solved. Then I remember, I think it was Kathy Hanratty, who was the chairman of the board, realized we really need to rebrand ourselves with a different name, and we became the American Staffing Association, ASA. And we've been that way ever since.